My name's Adeline, and for 3 years, I lived in complete silence. I lost my hearing in a car accident when I was 29, and everyone said I'd never get it back. 6 weeks ago, an experimental treatment worked. I can hear everything now. I just haven't told anyone yet. She can't hear us, Mitch. Stop being paranoid. I was sitting in my home office, supposedly reading on my tablet. Taryn's voice came from the kitchen. Taryn had been my best friend since college. She'd learned sign language for me, brought me coffee every morning after the accident, held my hand through every appointment. I know, but it still feels weird. That was Mitchell, my husband. Just keep your voice down anyway. You're being ridiculous. She's been deaf for 3 years. The doctor said the damage was permanent. I kept my eyes on the screen. My hands stayed relaxed. I'd gotten very good at looking absorbed in something I couldn't actually hear. Did you talk to Rosalie yet? Mitchell asked. Rosalie was my business partner. We ran a graphic design firm together. I'd built most of the client base before the accident. Then she'd stepped up to handle the verbal negotiations while I focused on design work. Yesterday, she's on board. Taryn's voice had that satisfied tone I'd heard 1,000 times. She agrees Adeline can't really run the company anymore, not properly. And she's willing to do the buyout? For 30 cents on the dollar, she thinks she's being generous. I felt something crack inside my chest. Rosalie and I had built that company from nothing. We'd worked 70-hour weeks for 5 years. Our contracts were worth over $2 million annually now. 30 cents? Mitchell laughed. That's perfect. Once we have her signature, we can… We need to be patient, Taryn interrupted. Rosalie's going to present it as a compassionate solution. Less stress for you, Adeline. More time to focus on your health. That kind of thing. When? Next week. She's preparing the paperwork now. And Adeline will just sign? Mitchell sounded doubtful. She trusts Rosalie completely, and she trusts me. I'll be there when Rosalie makes the pitch. I'll tell her it's the right choice, that we're all worried about how hard she's been pushing herself. My tablet screen had gone dark. I tapped it randomly, keeping my expression neutral. What about after? Mitchell asked. After she signs? What about it? I mean, we can't exactly just… We've been over this. Taryn's voice went cold. 6 months. We stay for 6 months after the buyout. Then you tell her you can't do this anymore, that being married to someone who can't hear is too isolating, that you've tried but you need more. She'll be devastated. She'll get over it, and she'll have enough money to be comfortable. We're not leaving her destitute. Just alone and betrayed, Mitchell said quietly. Don't get soft on me now. You said you wanted out. You said you couldn't spend the rest of your life with her like this. There was a long pause. I counted to 15 before Mitchell spoke again. I do want out. Sometimes I feel guilty. The guilt will pass, especially when we're in Barcelona next year. Barcelona. I'd always wanted to go to Barcelona. Mitchell knew that. We'd planned a trip there for our 10th anniversary, but the accident happened 2 months before. We'd postponed it indefinitely. You really think we can pull this off? Mitch, we'd been planning this for 8 months. Everything's in place. Rosalie thinks she's doing Adeline a favor. Your brother thinks you're a saint for staying this long. Everyone sees exactly what we want them to see. Glenn's been asking questions, though. Glenn's harmless. He won't say anything. Glenn was Mitchell's younger brother. He'd visited me every week since the accident, brought me books, sat with me when Mitchell was working late. What if Adeline doesn't sign? She will. She's completely dependent on us, on me. She has no idea how to navigate the world without sound. We've made sure of that. I set my tablet down carefully, stood up, walked toward the bathroom like I'd done 1,000 times, my steps measured and certain, like someone who'd memorized every inch of her own home. Behind me, their voices continued, planning my life, dismantling everything I'd built. I closed the bathroom door, turned on the water, and started making plans of my own. The meeting happened Tuesday afternoon. Rosalie sat across from me with papers spread between us. Taryn sat beside me, her hand on my arm. Rosalie's lips moved. I watched them carefully, nodding occasionally. "I'm sorry, can you sign that?" My voice had the flat quality it had developed after the accident. Rosalie looked at Taryn. Taryn signed while speaking. "She's saying the company's gotten too complex for you to manage, that the stress is showing. She wants to buy out your shares so you can focus on your well-being." I made myself look hurt. "Is my work not good enough?" Taryn squeezed my arm. "Your design work is beautiful, honey. But there's more to running a business. Client calls, negotiations. It's too much for you now." "How much is she offering?" Rosalie slid a paper toward me. $600,000 for my half of a company worth over $4 million. That seems low. "It's fair," Taryn signed. "Rosalie's been carrying most of the operational burden. She's earned more equity." "But I built the client base." "That was before Adeline." Rosalie spoke directly to me. Taryn translated. "Things have changed. This offer is generous considering the circumstances." I let my hands shake. "Can I think about it?" Taryn and Rosalie exchanged a look. "Of course," Taryn signed. "But honey, I really think this is best. Less pressure, more peace." After they left, I opened my laptop, started going through company files, financial records, client contracts, email archives. Rosalie had been systematically redirecting new clients to a separate LLC she'd registered 8 months ago, using our reputation and resources to build her own competing firm, planning to leave me with a hollowed-out shell, and Taryn had helped her. The emails went back to right after my accident. "She won't be able to fight this," Taryn had written. "She can barely handle basic communication." Rosalie's response: "I almost feel bad, but business is business. She's dead weight now." I downloaded everything, saved them to 3 different drives. Then I went home. Mitchell was watching television with the volume low. "Hey," he said, out loud, not signing. "How was work?" I didn't respond, walked past him to the bedroom. He followed. "Adeline, what's wrong?" I turned to face him. "Rosalie wants to buy me out." His expression shifted, perfect concern. "What? Why?" "She thinks I can't handle the company anymore." "That's ridiculous. You're brilliant at what you do." "Taryn thinks I should take the offer." "Well, Taryn wants what's best for you. Maybe she's right. You have been stressed." $600,000 for my half. Does that seem fair?" He hesitated. "I don't know enough about the business, but if both Rosalie and Taryn think it's good, maybe trust them. They love you." I nodded slowly. "You're right. They do love me." "So you'll sign?" "I need to think about it." "Don't think too long. Opportunities like this don't wait." I went to bed early, lay there listening to Mitchell on the phone in his study. "She's considering it. Yeah, she seemed upset but not suspicious. I think she'll sign by Friday. Taryn, relax, we've got this." Glenn showed up Thursday morning. I was having coffee when he let himself in through the side gate. "Hey, Adeline," he signed as he spoke. "Brought you something." A thriller novel. He knew I'd started reading them after the accident. I smiled, signed back. "Thank you. Coffee?" "Always." We sat together. Glenn was observant, thoughtful. He saw things other people missed. "Mitchell seems stressed lately," he signed. I shrugged. "Work." "Adeline, can I ask you something?" "Of course." "Are you happy?" I looked at him carefully. "Why do you ask?" "Because you seem different lately, and Mitchell seems like he's waiting for something." I pulled out my phone and typed, "Can you hear me?" Glenn's eyes went wide. Typed, "Yes, can you?" I nodded once. His face went pale. Typed, "How long?" 6 weeks. Why haven't you told anyone? I typed out everything. Mitchell and Taryn, the affair, the buyout, Rosalie's theft, Barcelona. Glenn read it all. His jaw got tighter with each line. "What are you going to do?" he signed. "I'm going to sign the buyout papers tomorrow." "Adeline, you can't." "And then I'm going to destroy all 3 of them." Glenn stared at me. "How?" I explained. Glenn had access to things I didn't. Information about Mitchell's finances, connections in their social circle. "I'm in," he planning said. "Whatever you need." "I need you to keep pretending you don't know." "I've been pretending not to notice my brother's an asshole for 8 months. I can keep going." Friday came. I signed the buyout papers in Rosalie's office. Taryn was there, squeezing my hand. "You're doing the right thing," Rosalie said to Taryn, not to me. I smiled, nodded. What they didn't know was that I'd spent the previous evening with a lawyer, one who specialized in corporate fraud. I'd shown him everything I'd downloaded. "This is extensive," he'd said. "Clear-cut theft. To build the case? 3 months, maybe 4. "And they won't know until we file?" "Maybe that. Not if we're careful." I'd paid his retainer in cash, from an account Mitchell didn't know existing. After signing, Taryn took me to lunch. Celebration. "You look relieved," she said, signing as she spoke. "I'm so glad." "I trust you," I said, meaning I trusted you. "I know, honey, and Ed of you. What would I do without you?" "You'll never have to find out." We had wine. She talked about a spa weekend next month, just us girls. I nodded along, let her see exactly what she expected. Someone grateful. Someone who'd never see it coming. 3 months later, Mitchell came home to find his bank accounts frozen. Taryn received a summons for deposition the same day. Rosalie got hers hand-delivered at the office. I was sitting in my new apartment when Mitchell called. Glenn had helped me move while Mitchell was at his conference in Dallas, the one he'd really spent with Taryn at a hotel downtown. I didn't answer. Just listened to his voicemail. Watched the transcript appear on my screen. "Adeline, what the hell is going on? My accounts are locked. There are lawyers calling me. Call me back. We need to talk about this." Then Taryn. "Adeline, honey, please pick up. I don't understand what's happening. Did someone tell you something? Whatever it is, we can work it out. Please." Then Rosalie. "Adeline, I don't know what kind of advice you're getting, but this legal action is completely unwarranted. We had an agreement. You signed the papers. This is going to get ugly if you don't back down." I deleted them all. The lawsuit was comprehensive. My lawyer had built it carefully. Breach of fiduciary duty, corporate theft, fraud, conspiracy. We weren't just suing Rosalie. We were piercing her LLC, going after every asset she'd hidden, every client she'd stolen, every contract she'd signed using my work. For Mitchell and Taryn, it was different. No criminal charges, no lawsuits, just exposure. Glenn had been busy. He'd contacted every person in their social circle, sent them copies of the emails, the affair, the plans, the timeline showing it had started while I was still in the hospital after the accident. "Just wanted you to know who my brother really is," Glenn had written. "Thought his friends deserved the truth." The responses were immediate, vicious. Their entire community had watched Mitchell play the devoted husband for 3 years, had praised him for his loyalty, his sacrifice. Now they knew it was all performance, preparation for maximum financial benefit. Mitchell tried to visit my apartment. The doorman turned him away. I'd left explicit instructions. Taryn showed up at my lawyer's office demanding to see me. Security escorted her out. Rosalie filed a countersuit. It was dismissed within a week. My documentation was too thorough. her theft too obvious. 4 months after I signed those buyout papers, we settled. Rosalie paid back everything she'd taken plus damages. Her new LLC was dissolved. She lost her business license. The professional consequences would follow her for years. I got my company back, whole, plus compensation that would cover my legal fees 3 times over. Mitchell and Taryn didn't have to pay me anything. They'd already paid in other ways. Mitchell lost his job. Turned out his employer valued integrity. News about the affair had spread professionally as well as personally. Taryn lost her reputation. Every mutual friend we'd had. Every contact in her network. Nobody wanted to associate with someone who'd weaponized a disability, who'd pretended friendship while planning destruction. I saw them once more, together, outside the courthouse after the final settlement. They looked smaller somehow. Mitchell's suit was wrinkled. Taryn's eyes were red. They saw me, started walking over. I could hear them now. Always could. Always would. "Adeline, please," Mitchell said. "Let us explain." "We made mistakes," Taryn added. "We were wrong. We know that now. But can't we talk about this? Can't you forgive?" I held up one hand. They stopped. "I heard every word," I said. My voice wasn't flat anymore. I'd been practicing, getting the music back. Every plan, every insult, every time you talked about me like I was broken, useless, dead weight. Mitchell's face went gray. "You could hear? When?" "6 weeks before Rosalie made her offer. I heard you in the kitchen that first night, and then I kept listening." Taryn was crying now. "Why didn't you say something? We could have—" "Could have what? Apologized sooner? Covered your tracks better?" I looked at both of them. "You thought I was helpless, dependent, someone to be managed and discarded. You were wrong." "We're sorry," Mitchell said. "God, Adeline, we're so sorry. We never meant—" "Yes, you did. You meant every word, every plan. You just didn't mean to get caught." I walked past them. Glenn was waiting by his car. He'd testified in my deposition, provided evidence, stood up against his own brother. "You okay?" he asked. "I'm better than okay." We drove away. In my rearview mirror, I could see Mitchell and Taryn standing together on the courthouse steps. Still together, still exposed, still ruined by their own choices. My company was thriving now. I'd hired new designers, real partners who respected competence over pity. We'd landed 3 major contracts in the last month alone. I could hear the success. Phone calls with clients, creative sessions with my team. The sound of people who saw me as capable, as whole. Everything I'd lost in that accident, I'd rebuilt. Everything they'd tried to take, I'd reclaimed. And I'd done it while they thought I was still sitting in silence, helpless and grateful for their lies. Here's what I want to know. If you discovered someone close to you was planning your destruction, and you had the power to hear them without them knowing, would you warn them you were listening? Or would you let them finish building their own trap?